This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by DansInkandToner.com, Ink and Toner, and a whole lot more, and Echo Conference. You can find out more information about Echo Conference and my breakout at EchoConference.com. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. And again, this show is there for you to teach you guys how to use media in the church to effectively portray the most important message, and that's the message of Jesus Christ. And we want to do that through all forms of media, and we've been covering a lot of different things lately. We've hit up email newsletter campaigns, we've talked about Flash, and we've done some After Effects, and we're going to be talking about countdown clocks today with a friend of the show, Trent Armstrong. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, if I didn't say that before, and with me, as always, is the three wise men in Jesus. We got Dwight Schrute, Little Whitey, Colonel Sanders, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. It's going to be a great show today. I'm really excited about it. So if the three wise men in Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, this week we have something old and something news for you, and this is our news segment where I help share something you maybe have already heard about and something you maybe haven't heard about. And something you maybe already have heard about is, well, Hillsong London. Hillsong Church is in London, and they have a worship team as well that has put out some CDs, and they just put out a new album a few months ago called Hail to the King. Now, what you may not know is that they are currently on a U.S. tour in April. So you can find them, find out the tour dates on their MySpace page, which is myspace.com/HillsongLondonOfficial, because somebody thought it would be cool to take Hillsong London and not let them have it. But you can find out more info on there, and they're actually going to be near me at Granger Church in Indiana, and I think I'm going to try to jump down there on April 21st. So make sure you guys check out Hillsong London, and you can go to hillsonglondon.com, I think, is their church's website. So make sure you check out that. I'm sure that tour is going to be awesome, and I wanted to let you guys know about that. Now, something new is Media Shout 4. Media Shout 4 has been, I think, officially released, or you can at least buy it now. They've redone the website, and we're getting a review copy hopefully any day now to be able to review on the show, so I can share with you guys the new features of that, because we are not biased. We're not going to be a Mac or PC only show. We want to help you guys use the best tools for the situation that you're in. So you can find out more on mediashout.com. You can try it now, you can buy it, as well as you can find out, you can follow them on Twitter, and you can find out more about the new version of Media Shout. They have a great little product tour and some videos and that kind of stuff. So I want to encourage you guys to check out Hillsong London's April tour, as well as Media Shout 4, and you can find that at mediashout.com. So we have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about how to do countdown clocks a way better way today, and we're going to be talking about expressions a little bit that we talked about in a past episode when we were talking about how to do that fly through the clouds. And I'm really pleased to be able to bring onto the show Trent Armstrong, and Trent is from, he works at RT Productions, which is a overarching group that is Echo Media, or Echo Conference, WorshipHouseMedia.com, Collide Magazine, and Igniter Media Group. And those are the four major things, as well as he does the Dallas AE User Group, which you can find at DallasAEUG.com, and the Modern Manners Guide podcast, which is at the mannerscast.com. So you can check that out there, as well as he has a tutorial site and is featured on Creative Count. You can find him at aetutorials.net. So if we can bring in Trent, we're going to ring him up on the phone. Hey, Trent, how you doing?
Hey, Brad. How are you?
I'm doing great, and was just letting everybody know about all of the wonderful things that you are a part of. And if you want to just kind of clue us into what you do at RT Productions and how you fit in the pipeline, because they have a magazine, they create content, you get Worship House Media, and there's a lot of different things in Echo Conference. So where is your role in the production line of all of these different organizations that you're a part of there?
Well, I am a motion designer here at RT Media Group. That's what the umbrella is. Basically, Igniter Media creates content for churches to use on their screens, videos, backgrounds, stills, countdowns, Igniter tracks, that kind of thing. We've got our magazine, Collide magazine. I was kind of the producer to get the Collide podcast going. WorshipHouseMedia.com. It's kind of a clearinghouse for other producers to submit their videos and backgrounds and that kind of stuff. And so I was also a producer on that podcast, and that's probably because I was the only guy in the office that had a podcast back then. So they indulged me and let me be kind of the guy that got those off the ground. And I'm really proud of where they've come to. The Collide podcast has a really cool graphics package that was created by Bart up here, Bart and Damer. And so we've also got him and David Womack, just started up here a couple weeks ago. And it's our kind of creative motion graphics team. And we're all officing out of the same office, so it's a nice little family environment right here. And it's very, very fun. It's very fun.
That's awesome. As well as you mentioned your podcast, which is the Manners Cast, and that is modern.
Yeah, Manners Cast. Mannerscast.com is everyday manners for everyday people, and it's kind of a discussion on manners. We get listener comments and that kind of stuff. We tell stories about our lives, and really it's a fun little community. It's not a big community, but we're all kind of getting to know each other. It's a worldwide listener base, and it's really fun. And then the Modern Manners Guy is part of the Quick and Dirty Tips Network, where Grammar Girl has started that. You may have heard of her, and we started that back in September, and we're up to around 200,000 subscribers per episode on that show.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's amazing to have been step into that role. Is crazy.
Yeah. One way that we've connected, actually met you / heard of you for the first time at Echo Conference last year, and and this year we're both going to be actually back at Echo Conference. I'll be doing a breakout there, as well as you'll be doing a breakout there. And my breakout's going to be on just After Effects tips and the things that you wish you could do, and like how do you do those crazy cool things, and they're all a lot easier than you think they would be. And what's your breakout session going to be on?
Mine's going to be taking a sermon graphic for a sermon series and creating an entire graphics package out of that. So maybe the art department gives you a still and maybe a Photoshop document with layers, and you take that particular document and create a series of loops, different stills that go along with the sermon graphic, but don't have like the title and tag and all that in there, and then countdown.
That's awesome. So it'll be a really great way for somebody, even if you don't have a art department, because a lot of churches aren't that size, but for people like me, who it's a one-man team, to be able to understand, how do I take this graphic that I've made and now translate it into motion, translate it into more than just a graphic.
Yeah, a guy like you. I need to say how impressed I was to meet you at Echo Conference. I mean, I'd heard so much about you and seen the podcast, and it was just really an honor for me to meet you there.
Well, thank you. I don't think it was. I'm not much of anything. I just tried to.
Wasn't quite as much an honor to meet me, huh?
No. It was a great.
Okay. No, I see how you're going to be. That's fine.
Okay, the interview is done. Adam, you can just cancel. No, I'm just joking. No, it was great, and I know that both of our hearts are just to use our gifts for God's glory and to be able to do that, and it's just so awesome to be able to be a part of that kind of production, and to know that we're not just making videos to wow somebody, but we're making videos and graphics to help change lives and to see the kingdom increase.
Yeah, I agree. And I had a guy early in my life named John Grable that when I started using After Effects, he was there for me to ask questions. He was kind of pushing the limits of After Effects. And because he offered so much time to me to answer questions and give tips and kind of live his life into me, I want to be that as much as I can. I don't know everything about After Effects, but as much as I do know, I want to share that with the church community. It's really fun that we are creating such an interesting and interested community of motion graphics and video guys in the church, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to get better. The only way we're going to support each other, because we can't live on an island. And that's what people do a lot of times. So encouraging each other to take it up a notch, to raise the bar of your own productions, and strive to be excellent in your church media production. That's where my heart is.
Well, what we're going to do now is, one way that we have connected is via expressions and After Effects, and been able to kind of converse about that subject and kind of push farther forward on that. And so one thing that I would love to do is, you on your site, aetutorials.net, you talked about how to do better countdown clocks, and so we're going to quickly go through how to do this. I'll get us started a little bit, and then we'll have Trent take over. But basically, the first step in this, the way this works, is we're actually going to be listening, or we're going to be getting our time code from another composition. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go up to, I'll have Trent do this, we're going to go up to composition, and we're going to create a new composition. Now this composition is going to be our time composition. This is where we're going to be getting our time code from. So we're going to, it doesn't really matter what size this is. We really only care about the length of this composition. So we're going to have it be 30 frames per second. We're going to make it 5 minutes long. And so we name this time so that we know that this is where we're going to get our time from. So now we're going to make another composition, and this composition is actually going to be what our time comp is going to be inside of. But we want to make this one a little bit longer. So we'll make it 640 by 480, but we're going to make this like 5 minutes and 10 seconds long, so that we can have a little bit of time at the beginning and the end to do a fade in and a fade out and make sure that's taken care of. Now what we're also going to do is, we're going to drag, we're going to open up our countdown composition, and then we're going to drag our time composition down inside of it. And we actually don't even have to have the eyeball turned on for this. We really only need to pull the time remapping for it. We'll leave it on for right now, and we're going to do time remapping. So we're going to go up to layer, and we're going to go down to time, and we're going to do enable time remapping. And this is going to, and this is also option or alt Shift T or Alt Control T and on the PC. And what we're going to do is, you can see we have some keyframes set between, or two keyframes, one at 0 and one at 5. And if we drag the timeline marker, you'll see that you can, in the time remap area, we have values that are changing, and those values represent time, and that's what we're going to use. So now we're going to create a text layer. And this text layer, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. We'll size it up and kind of get it how we want it to look, but we can mess with this a lot more later. And this is the beauty of the way that we're going to do this. We're going to be able to change the color, change the size, the kerning, all of this stuff after we've done it. Whereas the old way of doing it, this was a lot harder. So Trent, if you want to, now that we've gotten this kind of set up, if you want to take us through how to set up this expression and how to actually set that text layer to respond to our time layer.
Sure. Well, something that is really fun to me is that under our text layer, twirl downs, we have the text option here and source text. So I can actually hold Option or Alt, click on my stopwatch to get my expression field, and just type a number in here. And you can see if I turn my expression on and off that it takes the value from my expression and places it in my text field. I can also do, let's say, Brad in quotes, and it returns that text in there. No matter what is in the text to begin with, the text layer to begin with, it always replaces it with what's in the expression. Now, if I want to see what's in the time remap function, I can pick whip to time remap and hit enter there, and if I scrub through, you can see that it's changing the value of the text to give me the time remap value.
And now that code down there that you see in the expression source layer, that says this comp.layerTime.timeRemap. And what that's saying is that the composition that we're currently in, which would be the countdown composition, find a layer called time. Now that time layer is the layer that we created earlier, and then we're going to pull the value of time remap, which is an effect that's applied to it, and we're going to pull that value and we're going to insert that into the text field. So that's basically all that means, but using the pick whip is really nice because a lot of times it writes out some code that you don't really, frankly, even if you knew how to write it, it's a waste of time, because if you can have the pick whip do it for you, why not type extra text?
Why not? Have expressions are all about doing stuff for you, and the pick whip goes even further and becomes your assistant that does more stuff for you. So
exactly.
Why not use it? All right. So now to kind of round this out, we need to use another function called time to timecode, because we don't want this value that is given to us by the time remap value, because it's got all those decimals and it doesn't look like timecode, obviously. The way After Effects looks at time is every second it gives you a whole number, and then the in-betweens are those decimals. What we want to do is take that, we'll turn it into a variable, temp equals, and put a semicolon at the end there.
And that's how you end out a line of code in JavaScript for anyone who doesn't know.
Right. And then I'm going to go time to timecode. Got to do my parentheses, because that's the function right there, and put my number in, my variable, where my number is going to come from. So I'll close out my expression, zoom back out, and you can see that we now have timecode. And that corresponds exactly to what's showing up in the time remap value here.
And so right now we're kind of at a similar place to where we would have been doing it the old way. But one of the nice things that you can do is you can actually, instead of using masks to chop this down, we're actually going to use a bit of JavaScript, which is what the language that expressions use. We're going to use a bit of JavaScript code to chop this down.
I won't pretend to know a lot of JavaScript. What I do know is that I can set myself up for success by doing things like Evernote.com, and I've got a lot of expressions out here that I can go to and do some copying and pasting. That keeps me quick inside After Effects. So what I'll do is I'll come here and do source to make another variable and paste in what I just copied from Evernote. And basically what this does is it looks at source, which is returning this number here from temp, and it says I want to convert that to a string, and then look at the substring of that, 4 characters in to 8 characters in, and it shows me what's between those characters. So now if I come out here and hit outside of my expression to accept it, you can see that I've lopped off the first half and the last few characters. I'll comment that out so you can see the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it'll show me this character. 5, 6, 7, and then it starts cutting off right there at 8. So get rid of that comment, and now I've got my formatted countdown. If you can hear some voices in the background, we have a kind of a community office here with Barton and David Womack. in our motion design department here. It's a really neat environment to be in with these two really talented guys.
Yeah.
But now we're going to leave that expression alone and jump down here to the time remapped layer and make this look like we want it to. So you can see that we're counting up instead of counting down. That's not what we want. So we'll select the time remap transform here and then go up to animation, keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframes. So now I'm counting down with my countdown all the way down to 0. All right. I want to stretch and make sure that's stretched out to the end of my comp. And I'm going to hold on my 5 seconds here before I start counting down because, maybe I want to do a fade up and I want to see that it's counting from 5 seconds, or 5 minutes rather, and still until everybody understands that that's what we're counting from. So what I'll do is I'll click here and type in 200 to go down to 2 seconds. I'll click my time remap property again, and I can scoop my keyframes both together in relationship to each other down to that 2 seconds. Holding shift, they will snap to my time marker. And now the first part of that just holds on 5, and it starts counting down until it gets to 0 and holds on 0. And now the beauty of this is I can change color very quickly. If I have my text layer selected, I can change color very quickly. I can change fonts very quickly. Move through there and change my placement of my text, and also things like tracking. Actually, tracking wouldn't work for this, but kerning works. And now let's say you've got your monospace font and you're fine, but your art department says no, we need this particular font. We need Vaughn's True Type, and it's not a monospace font. Your numbers are just jumping around everywhere. In order to take care of that, what we'll do is we'll take our text and duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that we're going to work with. I'll take this guy and use him as a template and just adjust the opacity down a little bit, and I'll start renaming these. Minutes, tens, ones. And what I'll do is drop down my expression. I can hit EE to show my expression. And I want to grab just that first number. And then I can use my move tool to place it on top of my templated number. Then I'll EE again, and I can come in here and change this to...
And for the colon, you actually could just get rid of your expression because you don't...
I could just...
Because that's going to stay the same and just make it
do a colon like that. Good call.
Less processing power for After Effects to have to deal with.
And I don't particularly care for the baseline colon, so I'd like to move mine up. For the tens of seconds here, I'll drop down my expression and change this to 6, 7. That gives me that 0. Scoot it over, and one more for the ones, EE. Roll that down. Let's see my expression again, and we'll just do 7 and 8. Move that guy over, and now we essentially have a monospaced, non-monospaced font. And so that keeps you from having the font jump around.
Exactly. Monospace fonts are basically a monospaced font has the same spacing for every single character, so there's no shifting going on. But if you have a non-monospaced font, a 1 takes up less space than a 0, and so it's actually going to slide your font in and out, and so that presents itself as a problem. And so by doing it this way, you don't have any of that issue. And now the really cool thing is we could plop all these guys, make them 3D layers. We could take a camera and rotate it around it. We can do a lot of different things with it, and so it's a really powerful. And you could actually make another expression that links up and changes the color, or you could just use an adjustment layer to do that. Now, one thing, if you would want to make this countdown shorter, all you would do is adjust your time remapping keyframes inside your time layer. And so we could go to our time layer and flip down that property, and we could say, well, we only want this to be a 2-minute countdown, so we'll just go to where the countdown says 2 minutes. And we'll be able to find that value, and we're just going to lay down a new time remapping keyframe. And so we'll plop over there, and we'll just find someplace in there, scrub through. So we'll just, Trent will set down a new keyframe, and we can delete that old keyframe, and now we have, it's just going to hold forever. I mean, we got a really long time. We might want to make our composition total length a lot smaller, but that's an easy way to make it smaller than 5 seconds. Now, if we go back and undo that, and we need to make it longer, this is where it becomes a little bit more difficult. Not difficult, but we just have to go through a couple steps. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to the properties of our time composition, and we're going to change the value of that. But first, we'll actually disable the expression on our text layer, correct?
Correct. We'll do that. So I'll make my composition 10 minutes and 10 seconds. And if you get rid of the time remap, because we do need to time remap for 10 minutes, if you get rid of the time remap here, your expression throws an error because it's looking for that time remap value. So it's disabled itself. We can disable it manually if we don't want that error to pop up. But now we're going to go to the time dummy comp, bring up composition settings, and change this to 10:00:00. Now it's a 10-minute composition. Come back in here, and you can see that it's adjusted its length down to the end. And we'll turn time remapping back on, enable time remapping, and twirl down for our expression. I hit U to twirl that down. Enable the expression again, and then we have to simply time reverse our keyframes. And there's our countdown.
Well, Trent, thank you so much for walking us through this and helping show a way better way to do countdowns. It's been great to have you a part of this, and I really look forward to, hopefully I'll be able to check out your breakout at Echo Conference and taking that step-by-step approach of taking a graphic and turning it into a whole motion package that you can use on a Sunday morning. I think that'll be a great resource.
Thanks, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if anybody watching this has not signed up for Echo Conference yet, you can go to echoconference.com, check out all the wonderful speakers, including Brad, that we're going to have at the conference, and sign up there. It's going to be in Dallas late July. It's like the last weekend of July. And we will be very excited to have everyone come join us.
And if you guys remember my review of Echo from last year, Echo was, in my opinion, well known for its food from the first year, because they just did a great job, and there's great food there, great speakers, great content. And this year it's even more highly based on teaching you how to use tools. Let's get past the conversation of why we should use media, because we all know we should use media. We need to use whatever tools are available to help reach people for Christ, but how do we use these tools? And that's what a lot of these breakouts are walking through this year. So I really want to encourage you guys to sign up for Echo Conference. Meet me down there. We might be doing some live broadcasts and some different things, so it should be a great time. And Trent, thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to have me on again, I would love that. And if you want to find out more about some of my tutorials, you can go to aetutorials.net. on Twitter at Trent_Armstrong. And I'd love to hang out with you, get to know you, and let's talk expressions.
Exactly. So if you guys have any thoughts or questions, you can hit him up on Twitter, and that was twitter.com/Trent_Armstrong. And you guys can find out a lot more information about what he does at aetutorials.net, or you can head over to echoconference.com and themannerscast.com, correct?
Mannerscast.com, yep.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Trent. And next, we're going to hit you guys with some great inspiration. Well, this week we have another great piece of video inspiration because it's Comcastic, and these are some great new commercials from Comcast that are just wonderfully made, and just like crazy amounts of detail went into these videos. So check out this great piece of inspiration, and maybe we can figure out how to pull off some of it. Most of it's done in 3D, but check it out. Be inspired.
Movie, sports, explosive action, HD on-demand attraction, heartbeat pounding roller coaster. Uh-oh, buddy's coming over.
Yo, what's up?
Slapshot, knockout, home run dunking, more high def, more iron pumping, ninjas, cowboys, gangsters, coppers, huge explosions, helicopters, blasting past 10,000 choices, guys high five, girlfriend rejoices, speeding forward, future hopping, always dreaming, never stopping. COMCAST.
Well, this week we got another great freebie for you, and it's another set of still backgrounds that you can use in your church. And these are from a friend of the show, Zach Fonville. We're actually going to be interviewing him next week, or this Friday, on our live. Well, no, wait. Hold up. We interviewed him this past Friday on our live show. It gets weird with our taping schedule and when things are live and not live. But anyway, we interviewed him on our live show to find out more about what he does at his church and how he goes about creating media and what his life is like working with media in the church. And I'm sure it was an awesome time, but he's got some great freebies for us. So you can check these out on the website, download them, use them. They're in full screen and in widescreen to download and use for your church. So check them out. Well, we want to say thank you to one of our sponsors, which is dan'sinnkandtoner.com. Ink and toner and a whole lot more. You can head over to Dan's Ink and Toner, and you can click on the sign up for the wholesale. You can just click here, and and yeah, you'll get your name, email, phone, and promo code. And in that promo code, you're going to want to put in Church Media Design, and that'll give you a 3-month free trial of the wholesale program. Now, the wholesale program will get you your ink and toner at wholesale costs, and then you just pay a minimal yearly fee. But in the risk-free trial, you don't have to pay the yearly fee. You're just going to get ink and toner at cost for 30 days. Or for 3 months, actually. But you can also sign up for a lot of other programs. Talk to Dan about what best is going to fit your church. They have a leasing program, so you can lease printers and get full service, the whole 9 yards. So make sure to go over to dan'sinnkandtoner.com and sign up, get some information, and find out more. You can also go to the wholesale tab and find out more about the wholesale program. We also want to say thank you to our other sponsor, which is Echo Conference. And Trent was talking about this, and I will be there this summer. It is July 29th through the 31st, and they have great speakers like Phil Vischer, Mark Steele, Phil Cook, and Ben Arment. And Phil Vischer is the creator of VeggieTales, as well as he does jellytelly.com now, and he's going to be there, and I'm really excited to hear him speak. So you can check out more information about that, as well as go to the breakouts page. Then you're going to really want to just skip over really great artists like Barton Damer, because, well, he's really great. But you want to keep going down until you see this ridiculous photo of a bobblehead down here at the bottom. And it says Brad Zimmerman's going to be there. And it's got this really dumb photo, and it's hilarious to me. And yeah, I'll be there, and I'll be talking, as well as Trent will be there, and he's doing his from sermon graphics to graphics package breakouts. So it's going to be a great time. So I want to encourage you guys to go sign up for Echo Conference, meet us in Dallas, and have a great time this summer. So check out echoconference.com and dan'sinnkandtoner.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. I'm so glad you guys could be a part of the show. It's great to have you guys here participating in this community. Now, we are not going to be doing live shows for a little while because I want to focus on getting the website up and running. So we're going to take a break from our live shows for, well, basically until the website can get up, because I need to have some Fridays to actually be able to work on the website instead of doing those live shows. So we're going to be taking a break, but when the website is up and running, we will have a live page where you can just go to the website and view it straight from there, and a whole lot of hopefully great things that will be coming down the line, as well as we're going to continue to pray about it. But I know that God's going to pull through for me on this one, that me and my wife are actually in the process of buying a house right now, which means Church Media Design might actually be getting a studio, whether it be in my garage or the shed there, but we might be getting a studio in the future. So hopefully some cool things are coming down the line, and hopefully I'll be a homeowner soon. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions about anything we covered today, as well as you can download the project file from what we did today, Trent's made that available for you guys to download, and you can find that on the website, but you can also leave a comment on the website, or you can email me, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. You can follow me up at twitter.com/CMDTV, or follow Adam at twitter.com/AdamCMDTV, or Trent at twitter.com/Trent_Armstrong. And there's a bunch of people there you can follow, as well as Little Whitey's actually on Twitter. It's twitter.com/LittleWhitey. There's like 4 followers, and yeah, it's pretty funny because I don't think he's posted anything, but randomly I get followers for him. But you can find us on there, email, Twitter. I think we covered most of them. So make sure you guys check out all of the different resources we talked about. Go to the website, download those freebies. And until next time, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So as for me and the 3 wise men of Jesus, we're saying, see you later.